All right, we are going to work on the compound angles, okay? So the compound angles are very simple also. Uh, Remember the first one, I think we do, where you have a cos A plus cos B, you have a cos A, cos B, then minus sine A and the sine B. But if you have a cos of A minus B, then here should be plus. You put plus there. Now, when you have a sine A plus B, then you have a first sine A multiplied by cos B. Then you have a plus cos A, and the sine now will be B. If we have negative, then also we have negative there, all right? Now, what is important also to know about the compound angle, when you look at a quadrant, okay? Let's start from what we call quadrant. Remember, in the first quadrant, we have a 90 plus, okay? If we are in the quadrant number 2, second quadrant, the angle will be 180 minus theta. That is the second quadrant. Or we'll have 90 plus theta. But in this case, we are not going to use 90 plus. Let us use 180 minus theta. So we'll have, for example, cos of 180 minus theta. This will give you minus cos theta. Why? Because in the second quadrant, cos is negative. For example, if they give you cos of 120, you have first of all to reduce this to cos 180 minus 60, because 180 minus 60 degrees will give you 120. So therefore, we have a cos of negative, because of a second quadrant, of 60 degrees. Then we have a 1 minus, cos of 60 degrees, it's 1 over 2. So cos of 120 degrees, it's minus 1 over 2. Number 2, if you have a sine of 180 degrees minus theta, this will give you sine theta, because in the second quadrant, sine is negative. Sine is positive, sorry. So you keep that. All right, let me continue here. Now, number 3, when you have a tangent of 180 minus theta, that will give you minus tan theta. Why? Because in the second quadrant, only sine is positive. Now, in the third quadrant you will have cos 180 plus, which will give you minus cos theta. Then we have a 2. Number 2, if you have a sine of 180 plus theta, the answer will be minus sin theta. Therefore, tangent 180 plus theta, remember tangent will be sine over cos. So minus sin divided by minus cos. So here will be positive tangent theta. Because in the third quadrant, tan is positive. Now, let's move to fourth quadrant. There we go. Fourth quadrant. Quadrant number 4. Quadrant number 4. Quadrant number 4. Remember, we have a 360 minus theta. So 360 plus theta is the first quadrant, okay? But this is a fourth quadrant. I want you to pause the video. Before you pause the video, I want you to look at this. 360 minus theta. What is the answer? Pause the video and give me the answer there. All right. Fourth quadrant, cos is positive. So we keep cos and we put theta there. Number 2, sine 360 minus theta. Try, pause the video. So we have a minus sin theta. And number 3, we have a tangent of 360 minus theta. Pause the video and try to redo it. All right, so we'll have what? Minus tan theta. All right. So this is how you work with the quadrant. Now, we have what we call the cofactor. 90 degrees minus or 90 degrees plus, we call it a cofactor. I want to give you an example why we call it a cofactor. If you have a cos of 60 degrees, 60 degrees is equal to 1 over 2. And which sine is 1 over 2? It is sine over 30 degrees will give you 1 over 2. Now, if you look at 60 degrees plus 30 degrees give you 90 degrees. So, meaning what? When you have a cos, the angle of a cos and the angle of a sine, you can add them, give you 90 degrees, which means the angle will give you equal, same value. So there we go. I want you to look at here. Can you see that cos of a 60 will be 90 minus what? 30 degrees. Okay? 90 minus 30 is 60. So this is equal to sin 30. Meaning what? When you have cos of a 90 degrees minus theta, let me remove all this. Let's call the cofunction, or cofactor, or cofactor. All right, so we'll have here sine theta. If I have sine of 90 degrees minus theta, I will have equal to cos theta. So sine will change to cos, cos will change to sine. Then if you have a tangent of 90 degrees minus theta, remember tangent, it is sine over cos. Therefore, you have a cos over sine. So it's the inverse. Now, when it comes to 90 degrees, cos of 90 degrees plus theta. Remember, in the second quadrant, sine, cos, it's negative, so you have a minus. And then you change here to sin theta. But when you have a 90 degrees plus theta for sine, you still have a cos theta because sine in the second quadrant is positive. Then tangent of 90 degrees plus theta, this will be minus cos theta divided by sin theta. So this is what we call the cofactors. This can help you in many examples. So I want to give you some example that you can use the compound angle, okay? That we can help you with the compound angle. If you know the compound angles, that will be very simple for you. For example, small example, if they say evaluate or calculate value of sine of 75 degrees. All right? What are you going to do here? You will say sine of 45 degrees plus 30 degrees. Can you see? Now, because 75 is not a special angle that you know, so you split this one to the special angle, which is 45 and 30. Therefore, you have a sine by using compound angle formula. This is your A. This is your B. You have 45 degrees. Then cos will be 30 degrees. If you have a plus here for sine, you have a plus. There we have a cos of 45 degrees and the sine of 30 degrees. So what is sine of 45 degrees is square root 2 over 2. Cos of 30 degrees, it's square root 3 over 2. Cos of 45 degrees, it is square root 2 over 2. Sine of 30 degrees, it's 1 over 2. Therefore, we can have 4 square root 2 times square root 3 will be square root 6. And then square root 2 times 1 will be square root 2 over 4. So here we'll have square root 6 plus square root 2 all divided by 4. All right, so I want you now to try this example. Try this is cos of 15 degrees equal to what? Pause the video and then come back to the question. Pause the video. All right. I believe that you have done it. There we go. We can have a cos of 45 minus 30. All right. So we know the formula. We'll have a cos 45, cos 30 degrees, and here we'll have, remember, for cos, when we have a plus, here will be minus. Now we'll have a plus there. So we have a sine of a 45 and a sine of a 30 degrees. So therefore we have a cos square root 2 over 2, and then we have 1 over 2 square root 3 over 2, and then this side we have square root 2 over 2 times 1 over 2. So here will give us square root 6 over 2 plus square root 2 over 2. So this will give you square root 6 plus square root 2 over, here 4 over 4, because you multiply here. Now, if you can look at this was cos 15. And the one we did, which was the same answer, was sine 75 degrees. So this is a cofactor, because 15 plus 75 gives you 90 degrees. All right, so we can see that here we can have a 90 degrees minus 75 equal to sine, remember, 90 degrees cos change to sine, and then this is the angle 75. You can see there. Now, let's move to the next question. The next question will be simple. The next question, we're going to use the same compound angle, okay? So now we have given cos of a 16 degrees equal to P. Or let's put sine, okay? Sine of a 16 degrees equal to P. Now, it says determine in terms of a P, determine in terms of a P the following one. Number one, you have a sine of 196 degrees. And number two, we'll have cos of 16 degrees. Now, how do you evaluate this? Okay, let me put it there. Sine of cos of 16 degrees. Now let me test my solution here. So what is going to happen here? We'll have the first one, we have a sine of 196. You can change it to 180 plus 16 degrees. Can you see? So which quadrant is this? It's the third quadrant. Only tangent is positive, meaning that we have a minus sine of 16 degrees. Now here sine of a 16 degrees is what? P. So our answer is minus P. Next question. We have a sine at 16 degrees. So we have to evaluate cos 16 degrees. So they are same angle. As they are same angle, what we can do, we'll do this. Cos of cos squared is 16 plus sin squared is 16. The answer should be 1. Okay. So cos squared sin will give you sin 16 degrees is equal to P. So sin squared will be P squared, okay, equal to 1. Therefore, cos of a 16, when you transpose 1 this side, it will be minus P. You transpose P squared, it will be minus P squared, 1 minus P squared. Now, we have a square root there. Therefore, cos of a 16 will be square root of 1 minus P squared. So, if you take 2 this side, or you squared both sides, cos of 16 degrees will be equal to 1 minus P squared. So, if you know compound the angle, you know identities, you can be able to solve so many questions in trigonometry. Now, I want us to look at another question where they give you this formula. You have a cos A minus B, which is the cos A, cos B, minus sine A, or plus sine A, sine B. Now, they say use cos A minus B to derive the formula, or to derive sine A plus B. So, you know what is given to you. Cos A minus B is equal to cos A times cos B plus sin A sin B. So they say this is the formula of a cos A minus B, but use this formula to derive the formula of a sine now of A plus B. So how you do it, remember we have a sine cos 90 degrees minus theta will give you sine 90 degrees. So sin A plus B is also equal to cos 90 degrees minus theta. What is our theta? It's A plus B. Remember, cos of a 90 degrees minus alpha is equal to sin alpha. So, our alpha in this case is A plus B. So, if you put A plus B there, instead of alpha, you have A plus B. So, this is what I did. Now, what I'm going to do, the next step, I will break this by cos 90, and here will be minus, okay? Minus a. Let me do this. We have a 90. If you remove the bracket, it will be minus a. Minus times plus will be minus b. All right, so minus multiplied by plus a will be minus. Minus multiplied by plus b will be minus. Therefore, we're looking at this now. Look at this, because they say let's derive. We still continue our a plus b. Now, if you look at this, let's use this formula. Let's consider this our a and a minus b. According to this formula, we will have a cos a, our a, which is 90 minus theta, which is a. Then we have a cos b. Then we'll have a plus sine a. What is a? It's 90 minus a. Then we'll have sine of b. So now we'll have what here? Remember, 90 degrees cos will change to sine a, and then we multiply by cos b, plus sine over 90 degrees will change it to cos a, and we multiply by sine a, sine b. So we can see that the formula, if you go back to the formula that we started in the beginning there, you find that sine a plus b equal to sine a cos b plus sine a cos b. So this is what we supposed to do today, or now, for compound angle. So we are going to continue with some exercises. Thank you.